Hello and welcome to Joy News Prime with me, Samuel Kojo Brace, live on DSTV channel 421, GoTV channel 125, and our social media platforms as Joy News TV. We're around the world on myjoyonline.com as well. Coming up, this NDC's Iddrisu declared Member of Parliament elect after EC ended parliamentary proceedings in Dom Kwabenya.
Power invested in me as a return officer. I declare Madam Akurugu Fosina Iddrisu as the MP elect for Dom Kwabenya constituency.
Well, we have details of that particular story coming up now. Also, in this hour, NDC tears into MPP's Mandamus case before the High Court, insisting it has no case as the High Court sets New Year Day as the date to deliver the ruling on a legal objection filed by the NDC. Also, electrical fault and gas leakage cited as the two major leading causes of fires in 2024. We have details as the Ghana National Fire Service reviews a 6.43% increase in fire cases for the year 2024. Now, get ready to dance all night at the Joy FM's 90s Jam this Friday, January 3, at the Pleasant Gardens in Jolu, as we celebrate Ghanaian legends and global hits from the timeless decade.
Besides, this year we are determined to give our patrons an experience they will never forget. Besides the usual grills and drinks and everything else, we are also providing some privacy for the patrons.
Well, at 8 p.m., Pius Kojobaka will be here with Prime Business.
Economist Professor Patrick Asiman urges incoming administration to be deliberate about boosting food production in the country to bring down costs.
The major thing that we should take into the year going forward is that we are still lacking a lot of investment, and we really need to do much more, especially in the area of food production, and then bringing down the cost of food. The rising cost of food is a big problem.
We'll also bring you Prime Sport at 8:30. Please stay for details. Remember, we are a home of independent, fearless, and credible journalism. Stay on. Let's start from the EC, because the NDC's Faustina Akurugu has been declared as Member of Parliament elect for Dom Kwabenya constituency after the Electoral Commission ended proceedings in that constituency. Now, Akurugu secured a total vote of 50,967, while Mike Okwe Jr. managed 50,669 of the 102,158 accepted ballots. Now, the declaration means the NDC has won the seat for the first time since the creation of that constituency, ending the MPP's dominance. My colleague Collins Frimpong was there for us and has more in his report.
This declaration, the Electoral Commission had insisted on organizing a rerun in one of the polling stations in Dom Kwabenya constituency following inconsistencies in the results there. But the EC has rescinded its decision to organize the rerun. The Commission's chairperson, Jean Mensah, has been explaining the reasons behind the EC's decision to finally declare NDC's Akurugu as winner of Dom Kwabenya.
We have not rested on our oars, and we've tried to unearth and unravel how we came by. In all of this, as you may be aware, we had reached out to the returning officer and our district officer, but we did not have any explanation for the use of the training sheet. What they had said was the presiding officer realized at the point of filling the form that what she had was a presidential pink sheet, and therefore she used a presidential training sheet. It didn't add up. It was not convincing. And so 2 days ago, as a commission, in our investigation, we had the light bulb moment that why don't we really do away with all the party agents at the collation center, because they have not been able to provide us the information we need. Why don't we go to the ground Rather than deal with collation agents at the collation center, why don't we identify, look out for the agents, the polling agents at the Abukobi Training Center? And so we took steps. We reached out to the parties, and we were able to do that. The PO was out of town. We were able to also reach her and asked her to come, return back to Accra to answer a few questions. This morning, we met with her, and she explained to us how she arrived at the training. She arrived at using the pink sheet for presidential training with training embossed on it. It's important to note that she did not have this training sheet with her on election day. And it's also important to note that contrary to what is being peddled in the news, though that training sheet was not signed by party agents. The question has been asked that, oh, it's the EC sheet, why are they not using it? Training sheets have no place at the polling station, and that's why we are not using it. It was not a parliamentary pink sheet, polling, even training, it was presidential, and it was not signed by any of the party agents. What she has explained is that, as I mentioned, she recognized that she did not have the parliamentary pink sheet. She had the presidential. And so she tallied everything on paper. She had both agents of the NPP and the NDC confirm the figure, and they decided, they agreed to go to the collation center to obtain a copy of the parliamentary pink sheet. Once there, they were informed to go to the district office. On their way there, unfortunately, they were accosted by some thugs who threatened their lives, and in the process, she fled. The good news is that she had this sheet in her bag, but she fled. And she says that the agents also dispersed and they all left. And so none of them had the results. She had it on a sheet. I'm happy to note, however, that the parties, although we did not have a pink sheet for parliamentary signed and completed at that level, each party also had their own tally cards. And on that tally sheets, they have the number of persons who came through. They had all the details, including the results, the total for each political party. And we have received that of the NPP. Although they are not present here, the presiding officer, some days after the election, reached out to the agents, the party agents, and the agent for the NPP sent his copy, and we've seen that we have the evidence and their communication. And it tallies that of what our presiding officer had on the training sheet. We have also met with the NDC, agent, and we've also taken a record of his tally sheet, which also contains the number of people who came to the center and the votes for each of the parties, and they tally. And that has enabled us to arrive at a completion today. So today, the Commission is pleased to note that it has brought proceedings and collation at the Domi Kwabenya constituency to a close. It has gone full circle. And we are convinced, without a shadow of doubt, that the outcome reflects the will of the people as expressed at the polls. I think that yes. So as mentioned, ours is not to make anybody president. It is to ensure that our outcomes and our processes guarantee that the people's choice is upheld. So we're happy to note that we have come full circle today, and the outcome of that election has been confirmed as being legitimate, as being the choice of the people. I think at this point, it is not in my place to make that declaration, and I'll hand over to our MC to take over and to let proceedings continue. Thank you. So we'd like to thank you. We know it's been a long road.
The MP-elect of Dom Kwabenya, expressed her excitement at the EC's declaration and pledged to spearhead development initiatives in the constituency.
They should expect. Now, the MP elect, the next thing is to start work. You know, Domi Kwabenya has always been for the MPP, and this is the first time the NDC has taken that seat. And so it's hard work that will make the people maintain me for long. And so it's all going to be hard work, and the hard work starts today. And so I want to thank the constituents for having that trust in me and then giving me this mandate. And I can promise them that we are going to make sure Domi Kwabenya becomes a place that everybody will love to be.
Meanwhile, the NDC's Deputy Director of Elections and IT, Dr. Rashid Tanko Computer, expressed confidence in securing victory in the other parliamentary seats currently being contested in the High Court.
All the forces are going for NDC. We won the seat fairly, clearly. What we are fighting over there at the High Court is all tomorrow that they are going to give a ruling on our objection that we raised, the preliminary objection. And it's very clear. What they did is that they are trying to use a backdoor to get whatever they are looking for. In fact, they are looking to come through a backdoor to have a petition filed. That is the form they are trying to do. And that is why our lawyers raised that objection. You cannot use that method, Mandamus, to get that kind of method because those declarations were made. What is all here is not a real declaration. They're just confirming what they have declared already.
Eliklima Purugu's victory means this will be the first time the people of Dom Kwabenya will be represented in Parliament by an NDC MP.
Now, the National Democratic Congress again says the NPP has no basis to request an order from the High Court compelling the EC to recollate results in some 4 disputed constituencies. According to the party, the EC has already performed its public duty, and the only option available to the NPP is to file an election petition. It follows the NDC's legal objection in court today, accusing the NPP of addressing an election petition as a Mandamus application. The court will decide on the objection tomorrow, and member of our political legal affairs desk, Kwekwe Asante, was in court for us and has come through with this report.
Even before Gary Nimakon will rise to his feet to move the Mandamus application, Eduji Kujo Tameklo shot to his feet with a preliminary legal objection. According to the lawyer for the NDC and his parliamentary candidates, the application seeking to compel the EC to recollate the results was an election petition in disguise. He argued that per section 16 and 20 of the Representation of the People law, the validity of an election can only be questioned through an election petition. But lawyer for the NPP parliamentary candidates, Gary Nimakon, argued that the legal objection was misconceived and that the authorities cited had no bearing on the instant case. He argued that an election petition can only be filed after the results had been gazetted. He insisted the EC had not declared any election in fact, and that the EC has a duty to collate and declare the winners, for which reason they are seeking the Mandamus. Lawyer for the Electoral Commission, Justin Amenuvo, posed one question as a submission. He asked, how does the person who has raised the objection expect the court to say whether or not there has been a validly concluded election without going into the affidavits? Justice Fosin Ba Ejapon has set New Year's Day as the day to deliver his ruling on the preliminary legal objection. Deputy Director of IT and Election of the NDC, Dr. Tanko Rashid Computer, says the NPP simply has no case.
You come under petition. You don't come under Mandamus because that action has been carried out by the EC. The presiding officers are mandated to carry out those actions, and they did carry out those actions. And so if you are not satisfied with the declaration made by the presiding officers, you come with a petition. You don't come with Manamus forcing them to go and do another one. We are very much satisfied that they did their job. The job was concluded. If you are not satisfied, you come with a petition to the High Court. You don't come with Mandamus.
But Majority Leader Alexander Fenyomakin is confident of victory.
The body in charge of the elections says that the elections have not been concluded. They are saying that their officers were threatened, were cajoled to do an illegal act. And the law allows them, the CI allows them to ensure that the right things are done. And that is what they've done. There is no official declaration. It is the Electoral Commission that does declaration of results. It is saying that it has not concluded.
If the judge decides that a legal objection has merit, the entire Mandamus application will be dismissed. But if the judge holds otherwise, it will then proceed to hear the substantive application and make a determination. Kwekwe Asante for Joy News.
Well, I heard from that, the Parliamentary Select Committee on Works and Housing, led by the committee chairman, Vincent Opon-Asamoah, has been touring the Saglemi housing project following last Tuesday's inferno that bent down 2 containers serving as storage facilities for hardware meant for the completion of the housing project, which has stalled for over 7 years now. Committee chairman Vincent Opon-Asamoah expressed concern about the current state of the project.
The committee's visit to the Saglemi housing project site was to see at first hand the level of damage following last Tuesday's inferno that burnt 2 containers serving as storage facilities for hardware meant for the completion of the project, which has stalled for close to 8 years now. Committee chairman Vincent Opon-Asamoah expressed concern about the current state of the project.
It's terrible. This is about our 3rd time of coming here, and you know those materials have been here for over 10 years. And leaving it at the vagaries of the weather, you can imagine what has happened to it. The question we keep on asking ourselves, if we had used our own money, pocket money to procure this, would they allow it to go waste the way we have done it? You know, we have spent over $200 million to procure all these items, apart from the structures we see here. The materials too, also a cost to the government. So if we are leaving it the way we have left it for 10 years, and most of the materials we cannot do anything with it. And that is what we have done to ourselves as a country. That's the way we treat ourselves.
He accused the Kufuor-led government of deliberately abandoning the project.
If we had even salvaged about half of this project, at least we have saved something for the state, the 200 million. We have saved something for the state. As for legal, to go by illegal issues, you can have time to go to legal issues. It can take 10, 15, 20 years. But at least what we have there belongs to all of us. So we need to protect it. Look at the road where we are standing. Look at the quality of road. Look at the drainage system. And for 7, 8 years, we've not done anything about it. Why? That's the question we need to be asking ourselves.
Oforikrom MP Dr. Iman Omafo and member of Parliament Select Committee on Works and Housing says provisions must be made to ensure continuity of projects even during changes in government.
We need to, as part of the transition act or the arrangements for presidential transition, we need to maybe amend that and include such component on projects. Because this is a $200 million project. That's a lot of money. So it cannot be that we, as a country, we don't know how to manage transitions. And that transition is only telling people this is what we have done, see the document. No, we should also be able to negotiate arrangements to say that this project that we are leaving for you, we are supposed to build, let's say, 5,000, and we have been able to do 500 or 1,000. These 1,000, they are ready. So we block that and say that even if you are going to make changes to a contract or whatever, these ones, we need to be able to allow it to go.
He also assured the committee, as part of its oversight responsibilities, will invite the Ghana Police Service to answer questions regarding lapses in security management at the Saglemi housing project site.
Of course, we are clothed with the authority to call any public servant or any public agency to answer questions. So once there is an arrangement that the Ghana Police Service was contracted to provide security, and as you can see from here, there's no evidence that there's even as we came here, we've been here for almost 1 hour. There's no security around. So it tells you that there's a security failure. And therefore, whoever was contracted to provide security, definitely we need to have an answer. As a committee of parliament, it is our responsibility to provide oversight. And therefore, we have every powers to be able to call the Ghana Police Service and the Ministry of Works and Housing to jointly come and answer why for so many years the site has been left unguarded for thieves and people to invade, as it were, the site.
The project has been given to a private developer and construction is expected to resume anytime soon. Prince Kwame Kuduge's report for Joy News.
This is still Joy News Prime. We'll take a break here. We'll be back with more. Please do stay. Welcome back from the break. Now, the chairman of the NDC, Johnson Asiedu Nketia, has reaffirmed the party's commitment to revolutionize Ghana's economy and state institutions as part of its reset agenda. Speaking at the 43rd anniversary of the 31st December Revolution on the theme Victory 2024, Time to Reset Ghana, Johnson Asiedu Nketia said the victory of the NDC in the 2024 general elections is the second revolution for Ghana. There's more in this report.
The 43rd anniversary of the 31st December Revolution was held at the Nungwa Town Park, with some key NDC leaders and chiefs gracing the event. The anniversary celebrates Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings for toppling the government of Dr. Hilary Liman's People's National Party (PNC) over economic mismanagement, corruption and perceived inefficiencies. Speaking on the theme Victory 2024, Time to Reset Ghana, NDC Chairman Asiedu Nketia reaffirmed the party's commitment to revolutionize state institutions.
On December 7, it was like the whole country was mobilized against MPP. And in fact, the youth of MPP were also equally mobilized against their own government. And that was why the outcomes were nothing short of revolutionary. This is the first time since the inception of the Fourth Republic that a party had won genuine and legitimate elections against all odds, including the referee, to get this margin of victory. So this is nothing short of revolution. So NDC has staged the second revolution of this country on December 7th. We have all promised Ghanaians that we are going to reset the country. But what is it that we have to reset? There's no doubt about the broken down economy. That is number one, we have to reset. There's no doubt about the fact that all state institutions have been compromised, and there is a need to reset the state institutions to function as institutions ought to function in a democracy, because it's been said that democracy is not a government of strong men, but it's a government of strong institutions. So there is a lot of work to do in resetting our state institutions to function, make them stronger than the people in power.
NDC General Secretary Fifi Avikwete also described the party's 2024 parliamentary and presidential elections as a triumph of the soul of Ghana against the perceived decadence and corruption of the NPP government.
But somehow, the soul of Ghana is so mighty, and that soul spoke to the people of Ghana. NDC were just a vehicle through whom the soul of Ghana manifested defiance, in order to make sure a signal is sent once and for all to anyone in government that you dare not use government to become a place where you think...
Member of Parliament for Kole Klote and daughter of Dr. Jerry John Rawlings, Dr. Zenato Rawlings urged the NDC not to allow arrogance to characterize the party's next government.
We must not allow arrogance, pride, and hubris to fill our hearts because of this victory. Because that will be the beginning of our downfall. We must maintain that humility. We must maintain that integrity. We must maintain the principles on which the revolution was founded, which finally gave birth to this Fourth Republic that we are trying to restore.
The 43rd anniversary of the 31st December Revolution was characterized with cultural display as well as wreath laying. Collins Frimpont's report read to you.
Well, away from that, the Ghana National Fire Service has identified gas leakage as the second leading cause of fires in 2024 as the country experienced a 6.43% increase for the year. Between January and November, the service recorded 5,596 fire incidents. In an interview with Joy News, the head of public relations at the GNFS, the Ghana National Fire Service, Desmond Aka, mentioned electrical fault as the leading cause of fires, with gas leakage as a second. He added there is an urgent need for modern fire tenders and advanced equipment to enhance the service's emergency response capabilities.
We have done well over 30% of these fires emanating from our domestic setting. Okay. Meaning that there are a lot of things that we are doing in our homes and residential apartments that is not really helping us to be able to keep the fires at bay. And the most common causative factor is electrical fault. Electrical fault is very broad, stemming from earth faults, stemming from overrated cables, stemming from short circuits, arcing, and a whole lot of faults that come up from these electrical appliances and circuitry. And therefore, it behoves on us to always ensure that we engage competent, certified electrical engineers and contractors to be able to do the electrical works for us in order to stem out these electrical fires from our domestic setting. And the next leading cause of fire is gas leakages. A lot of people use gas in cooking, but they tend not to put in all the safety protocols. You would go and you will find people put heavy objects on the regulators and will not even care to even change the tube that connects the stove or the burner to the cylinder. And these are the sources of the gas leakages. And that is even maiming people, causing a lot of people to get injured through these burns and all that. So in as much as we have intensified our education, we will look at all these causative factors and then utilize them in our educational messages to ensure that people adhere to some of these safety. And around this time of the year, people tend to be a bit more careless with the use of naked light, especially around our residential apartment. We tend to gather rubbish, we tend to weed around, we tend to burn them, but we tend not to put in safety measures to ensure that the refuse that we are burning, we stand there to ensure that they burn to completion, and that even if things escalate, we have extinguishers or buckets of water to contain the situation. They just set the fires to the bush and then leave it. People also depend on the natural vegetation for game or for firewood or charcoal and wild honey and all that. And this is not the time for us to engage in such activities. So we would continue to leverage on the over 6,000 fire volunteers that we have trained across our farming communities who are helping to kind of educate the masses on the dangers of ensuring that we keep the naked fires out of our natural setting.
Now, business owners at Asiman scrapyard are grappling with the aftermath of a devastating fire that broke out near China Mall on Monday, consuming 17 containers and destroying properties worth millions of cedis. Now, the blaze was eventually brought under control by a combined firefighting team from Tema and Asiman. Speaking to the media, Tema Regional Fire Service PRO DO3 Ebenezer Yenzu confirmed that investigations into the cause of the fire are underway. He also urged scrapyard operators and businesses to exercise heightened caution, particularly during this Harmattan season.
Around 12:54, we had a fire call that there is an emergency around the Middle East, close to the toll booth, the motorway overpass. So quickly we had to dispatch an appliance from the motorway fire station to the fire scene. And it took about 2 minutes to be able to respond to this incident. And upon arrival, we determined that the fire was well alight or the fire was raging on. So we had to call for extra pumps or extra vehicles to come in and assist. So the officer in charge who arrived first had to mobilize about 6 other vehicles in addition to make 7 for us to be able to control the raging fire. And the fire involved scrap wires and metals as well, transformers that are used as scrap. They sell them as scrap. So they had to come in, contain the situation. It took them close to an hour to be able to contain the fire from spreading to other adjoining containers or structures that were there. Unfortunately, the fire affected about 17 of the metal containers that were around. But because of our swift response as well, we're able to salvage over 200 metal containers. If you go beyond where we are, the yard that we are in, you can see the chain of metal containers that are here. There were no casualties. Currently, we are trying to look through to see what exactly caused the fire. We've been able to determine the origin of the fire, but as to ascertaining the exact cause of the fire, investigators are on the ground. They are trying to make their preliminary investigations. Then, whatever that we come out with, we'll be able to determine the exact cause of the fire. Currently, what they are doing now is to try as much as possible to do what we call salvaging. So salvaging, trying to use the backhoe to try and turn the debris that are there to be able to get to the seat itself, so as not to be called in again by evening time that there's a possible reignition. So we want to make sure that we are able to douse down the flame and douse it down totally, so that we will not be called in again. Because we've marshaled resources, started vehicles to come in. So that is basically what. So what we advise dealers of these scrapyards, those in their companies, those in their workplaces, we should be very mindful of the change of weather. Just like you said, there is a dry spell. The weather has been very, very dry. The ambient temperature now is very low. So when it comes to usage of heat sources, let us all be very wary. Try to make sure that we don't keep heat sources unattended to. If you are cooking, make sure you attend to it. If you plug something on into your socket, make sure that you put them off before you leave for your various homes. As we get home as well too, let's try to be very careful with how we deal with candles, because sometimes we try to spice up the night a little. We'll put down some candles and some incense around, just to make sure that we have a very good atmosphere for the Christmas festivities with our Christmas trees. All those Christmas lightnings that we use, let's try to make sure that we use a certified Christmas lightning. Then also make sure that the candles that we use, we are able to put them off, or even not put them close to combustible materials, so that we can have an incident-free Xmas. My name is DO2 Ebenezer Yenzu, Public Relations Officer at Tamari.
This is still Joy News Prime. We'll take a break here. We will be back with more. Please do stay. All right, time for us to do showbiz, and Noella Karien Yale, my sister from Nzima, joins me. Yeah.
Hiya.
How are you?
I'm good.
I'd love to speak Nzima, but yeah, let's...
I mean, I'm not very fluent with the typing. Don't come and look for trouble for me. But anyway, it's been 366 days.
Charlie.
And we're here, we're living, we're breathing.
Charlie.
Anyway,
Brilliant.
so let's talk about Promised Land. That's King Promise's concert. It happened yesterday. It was amazing. It had great musicians, perform. Young John, who was like the hottest artist in Nigeria now, was there. It had Darko Vibes, it had La Mem Gang, it had Kwabna, it had Joey B. Listen, here are some highlights.
Ready. Yeah, super excited for tonight. Promised Land 2024. We've had a very, very good year by the grace of God, you know. Traveled all over the world, dropped my third album, True to Self, went on tour, and finally said, let's end it back home, you know, a befitting ending. So I'm super excited for tonight. Last show of the year. Just gonna smash it, have a good time.
Was in Promised Land, beautiful concert. Next year we should be there.
We should. I mean, you know,
definitely we should.
Next year we'll be there.
But anyway, one other person who performed at the concert was Kelvin Boy. Remember yesterday I brought you a story about Kelvin Boy, Stone Boy, and I told you that following the interview that Stone Boy had, Kelvin replied with a tweet, and we read the tweet yesterday.
Yeah, we did.
Well, Becky caught up. First of all, let me relax. He performed a song Stone Boy owns.
Okay.
At the concert.
Hey.
And then after that, Becky caught up with him and asked him, you know, what's going on with the tweets and the replies and everything. And he says, listen, I did not tweet that. My team tweeted that.
Really?
Yeah.
But I want to answer again. And in the year, all of the bad man them. Give thanks for life again. We will take them to the dance again. Time and time again. Before we go right and fly again. One day will come again. Where them know? I drink the people champagne. Forget about the worries. Girl, come dance again. Why not party again? Hey, girl, I don't know what's in it now. What can I say?
I don't handle my social media, so it's my team.
So your team?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I know my. And they know how I'm and Kameka, so they just spoke like me, they tweeted just like me. Benjamin, I'm a type here. By my account, in Tessai, me, so said your moon in the sanity.
But are you okay? Are you okay? Are you? I mean, you know that I've followed the journey, you know, from. No, like no. Not I don't know how you understand whether you're okay thing. I'm saying generally, like somebody will wake up and ask you whether, Kelvin, are you okay? Not like you're crazy or anything.
I'm good. I'm very good.
You're okay.
Than before. Yes.
It was necessary for you to let out whatever, or your team lets out whatever it is that you let out on social media.
Yes, of course.
Okay, so he's okay, but his team did that tweet or replied Stone Boy yesterday. But anyway, we're wrapping up. But before I go, you want to say something?
Someone should speak to him.
Really? Why do you think so?
He's a talent.
Yeah.
But I feel he's losing it.
He's losing it.
And someone should speak to him.
Okay, there you have it. Kojo Bray says someone should speak to Kelvin Boy because it looks like he's losing it. But anyway, tonight, the Freedom Streets concert by Vibes Cartel. Happening.
Where's Shadowale?
And our very own Shadowale, who will soon be bringing home a Rose Cullinan.
Did you, when I saw the video, Jesus.
Do you have money for duties?
Oh.
Yeah, you and I. But anyway, so yeah, you should look out for that. Tomorrow definitely will bring you snippets from that concert. But yeah, you know, though earlier on, Vibes had a press release or press conference where he was saying that at 10 o'clock exactly, he's going to be performing because a lot of artists are going to be there. Yeah. And he describes Shatta as an international artist.
Exactly.
And of course, he is an international artist. He's not a local Jamaican there.
No, yeah.
But that would be all for Showbiz.
Okay. But you know what? I feel that we've traveled 6 days. Huh?
Yeah, it's been a leap year.
Because it was a leap year.
Yeah.
And we are still here.
Yeah.
It's by grace.
Absolutely.
So what a way to wrap our year, 2024. Wrap the day today and say thank you to all those who've been with us throughout the period from 1st January 2024 to 31st December.
Where are you spending your 31st though?
I'll be touring some churches. I am
roving.
I go. I mean, I fellowship with ICGC.
Oh,
so I'll
okay.
be.
I'm going for a party.
Okay, right. So that's it. And on behalf of all of us here at Joy News, we say thank you for being with us. May God bless you and usher us into a beautiful year 2020.